What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Beyond the Summit podcast roundtable here for Movie Buffed, our fourth episode of Movie Buff. Now we've gotten to talk about free-to-play and various esports documentaries. We got a trip down memory lane talking about the nostalgic flick The Wizard, and now on episode 4, we're going to get a fresh new flick. It's Blade Runner 2049. We got here joining at the table yet again our world-renowned, famous Beyond the Summit content director, none other than Mr. Daniel Nigerian. Dan, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Hey, guys, I'm Dan Nigerian.
I said that, Dan.
My background is in film and animation. I'm the content director here at BTS. Super excited to talk about Blade Runner. We also have a great guy with us. He's been on one other. It's Ken Chen. Hey, Ken.
What's up, Ken?
Hi, I'm back for this one because I watched this movie with you guys. I really felt it was very necessary for me to leave work at 3 p.m. on a Friday to watch the movie with you. So, that's why I did it. And I did not watch the original Blade Runner the way you guys did.
Yeah.
So I provide a very special, lazier perspective to this movie.
And we're hoping maybe we'll get to, educate you a bit on the
Yes.
Blade Runner universe. But as Ken said, we got together as fine gentlemen, the three of us, plus our lead cameraman, Andrew, of course, and we went down to the local AMC, and we got the, Dolby experience?
Yeah, I feel like we should talk about just our
movie
watching experience. So, yeah, first off, in the greatest day of my working career life, I got to leave work to go to a movie for work, which is probably the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And we went to the Dolby Theater. So, if you don't know, Dolby and AMC struck a deal this year, and they started installing what they're calling, Dolby Experience theaters.
Is that why the sound was fucking crazy?
Yeah.
The sound was out of control.
The sound was insane. So there's two different things about a Dolby
everything
theater. If you
happening.
don't know about it, it has the Atmos system, which is their newest surround sound experience. It's not 5.1. It's not 7.1. It's Atmos.
It felt like an earthquake every time there was bass.
It's
was
insane. You're
fucking
like-
nuts, yeah.
and your whole butt shaking.
Yeah, it
the
was
chair was
crazy.
out for my budgetity on this
It was
one.
crazy.
It was
I don't
quite
know.
ridiculous.
And so let me just say that the theater did not turn off the lights for the first 20 seconds of the
Yeah.
movie.
Oh
Dan
my
sprinted
God.
out there to complain.
Dan, what did they say? Yeah, he had to sprint
lights are
out there
not
just to then get to turn the lights off for the movie.
Okay, yeah, wait, so let's set the scene. So
you
we're in
missed-
the
you missed
theater.
opening.
Not a lot of people at the theater.
Not a lot of people there. First off, so they have a whole new thing before the show starts to show off the second technology, which is their new projector system. And they've been talking about it a lot this year. If you're in the industry, you're really excited about it because it's got super amazing blacks and a really nice HDR-focused picture. They use 2 projectors stacked to have a spectrum of color, and you can see way more colors, way better blacks, whatever. They have a whole display before, which is this crazy, here's our sound system, here's the projectors, and all the lights are on, so we can't experience any of the coolness. And I'm kind of sitting there tweaking out, dude, they're not going to turn the lights off. They're not going to turn the lights off.
Maybe last minute they'll turn it off as the movie's starting.
We
up.
go through all the trailers, lights are on.
Yep.
We hit opening credits come out. Oh my God, they're not going on. Nobody's doing anything. So I had to get up, run out of the theater, go outside. I'm panicking and sweating. There's nobody there because it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Even though right before we went inside, there was 20
They're
people
just
standing
yelling,
around.
Hello?
Yeah, so I just yelled at the concession people. I was like, the lights are on. The lights are on. I'm okay, yeah, all right. Take it easy, guy. We'll go fix it. So then I came inside and they turned the lights off. But the theater is crazy. The picture is amazing.
They said with Dolby whatever and then without, and honestly I couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, because all the lights were on.
So it was really bright. So I
Movie
couldn't tell the
theaters
difference.
obviously stepping up their viewing experience because now you got IMAX and all this crazy 3D shit happening. So even the basic theater experience
Is
stepping
IMAX
up.
made by Apple?
Yes.
It is?
No, it's
I
not.
don't know.
No,
I
it's
don't
not.
know. It's you can
I'm not
either-
trolling. I'm
You're not
serious.
trolling. No, it's one. There's one company that does IMAX. They create the IMAX
Is it
cameras.
with the lowercase I and then capital M?
I don't know if it's
Does
all
Apple
it's
trademark
all
I see what you-
capital.
I see what you did now, Ken. I'm way late on that one. IMAX.
It's not a
Yeah, I
joke.
see-
I'm
I
being
see.
He's being
serious.
serious,
No,
and it's not. It is
Okay.
not.
It's not
So
made
let
by
me ask
Apple.
you guys:
Okay.
did you notice? Obviously, the sound was visceral. It shook us, and it was
Yeah.
amazing. So what is different about the sound is that a 5.1 system. Okay, you have 5 points of audio around you, and you can also pan the audio around. But that's broken up into 5 sections, and those blocks have no gradients between them.
We also had recliner chairs.
Yeah, we can reserve seats in this theater.
I was
Sorry, I
gonna say-
interrupted your sound.
Yeah,
Vance.
thanks. Well, we're going to get into that after, but we'll do it now. So you can reserve your seats ahead of time.
bad.
You can choose where you're going to sit, which means you can roll up to the theater right as the movie's starting and have the perfect seat if you got it in time, which is great.
Yeah. I wanted to watch the trailer, so I want to get there early.
Yeah, the trailers are great. But so with this system, each speaker, imagine there are like 11 little speakers here, and you can move the sound individually from each speaker to each speaker and above you and behind you.
The
so that's
theater
the
is
Atmos
just
system.
riddled with speakers going from the screen up across the ceiling, down the sides, and
We
they're
watched
obviously sending that sound all through
Yeah.
all speakers. It's quite a ridiculous body orgasmic experience.
There's a sound designer that's going through and watching as they're designing the sound and moving that audio. So if something passes over you in the screen, it's passing from the front of you in the sound and then over you and then behind you to really give you that like full experience, which I thought was worth it.
It was a great experience.
Pacific
'cause
Rim trailer.
I don't know how you guys feel about like the whole 3D movie experience, but I
I'm
don't
not a
care
fan.
about that
No,
anymore.
I don't like it.
Not
I feel like
value.
in general, people are just saying it's not value anymore.
No.
I think what we got was good. Reclining seats, they're still like trying to up their game. Reserve seating, recliner seating, we're super comfortable. It sounds
Yep.
great. That was a great viewing experience. I was super
The
happy
better sound, better picture, better seats, and then the kind of like tack on, which I don't care about as much, but was a better experience, is food. If you can have food and drinks. We went to the bar before. We got drinks and then went to the theater.
The next step is a 360-degree screen all the way around you, so you can see.
Like a dome. And like,
No. Just
What if you missed some of the action though? You know.
then you go see it twice. It's extra money.
I
You
see. What you did.
it's like
Okay,
the
okay.
like theater VR experience.
Yep.
All right.
The trailer. Yeah, do we want to talk about trailers? There was
There's
a couple cool
I
ones.
mean,
A couple
it's
cool
just
trailers if you guys want to dabble in the
Annihilation,
trailer
right?
game a bit before we get into the real.
Annihilation,
Annihilation
Pacific
trailers
Rim.
of Natalie Portman, and the guy that did Ex Machina, directing that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what was a good one? The Foreigner with Jackie Chan.
Yeah, you were like
That
you
was
were hating on it at
surprisingly-
first. And then
At
like,
first, I was
At
like,
first,
Jackie
it seems
Chan.
kind of like Jackie Chan movie, but then we
Again?
saw the trailer, and I'm
And
kind
then I
of
was
like,
like, oh,
this seems pretty cool.
This is a serious
it
movie.
looks sick.
It looks pretty sick.
I am a huge. I used to grow up. So my grandma used to get these bootleg Jackie Chan movies all the time, and I grew up watching like Mr. Smiley Man, like Rumble in the Bronx, all these shit,
Yeah.
like bad dubbed Jackie Chan movies. So I love him. I think he's funny. I think his action's amazing. And this looks like. It feels to me like if you hear him talking earlier in his career about a kind of movie he wants to make, he wants to be taken seriously. He loves doing the comedy, but he wants to be, he really wants to be a love interest, which he got to do in that one movie, The Suit, where he's like a James Bond character and he wears a suit. And now here, he gets to be super serious, dark, real action.
It's a story retold of Hydra in Korea.
And I think they also just announced that
StarCraft
Rush
trailers.
Hour 4 may happen, so we still get to see silly.
You think that's
Jackie.
going to happen? If that happens,
I think they said it's going to happen now.
is Chris Tucker going to come back for it?
I think that's what they said. It's going to happen. I mean,
He is a,
lot
like,
of people said they
reverend
would see
now.
it for sure. I would see it. Rush Hour has been hilarious.
Are they replacing the O or the U in hour with a 4 in the title? So it would just be Rush Hour and then with the 4.
That would be creative marketing.
That's what I want to do.
They would be pretty. They would be on top of it if they did that.
Save that for us. Any other trailer notes?
I just wanted the Pacific Rim trailer.
Okay.
First off, anybody who didn't like Pacific Rim will complain about the story and the dialogue being
And the
terrible.
physics.
And the yeah, sure.
Purge complained to me about the physics. And I was just like, Purge, it's a movie with monsters that just like come out of the fucking ocean floor.
Yeah, why do you care about the physics of a monster being punched? Like, you're there to watch giant robots fight giant monsters, and there really isn't that much more to it. Everything else is just
some
flavor.
guy's like, there's no metal on Earth that can support that much weight. It's like, dumbass. Like,
it's like the same guys that complain about Wolverine, how he'd never be able to actually do anything he does because he'd rip himself out of his own skin. You know, it's like, he would, but who cares?
Yeah.
Movies, bro.
Yeah, we're
let them
watching
tell their
movies.
story.
Pacific Rim, though, I'm very excited to see how they explain why they put a 13-year-old girl into one of these robot suits. Like, you have the main character.
Spoilers.
We're talking about the trailer already.
some people don't watch the trailer.
Okay,
Damn.
well,
Spoilers.
sorry. Just FYI, this entire episode is going to be filled with spoilers. So if you
Spoilers,
don't want
guys,
spoilers for anything
please.
we're talking about, get out of here. Movie
hell
Buff
outta
is going to
here.
be
We're talking about
filled with everything.
spoilers for Blade Runner 2049.
Spoilers again.
Really? Oh, I thought
No.
our producer was pretending to run away.
Yeah, our
from us.
producers just ran off
You
because
have
he
to
figured
listen to
out
this,
there's going to
Eric.
be spoilers.
Like, watch the movie.
Oh, God, Eric. Yeah, he hasn't seen the movie. Sorry, Eric. We're going to tell you
should
everything.
come with us to watch the movie on the day they watch the movie. Otherwise, you're not going to be
Noted.
able to.
We're gonna get
you're
Eric
gonna
in
get
on all the
spoiled.
movie.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, next time, Eric, you're coming. All right. Well,
All right.
those are the trailers.
Okay.
We get into the movie. I had
All
to
right.
save the day and get the lights turned off. By the way, okay,
Now we're
another
ready.
note on that is that, so then as I'm walking into the theater through our row, they hit the lights off, so my eyes have to immediately adjust, and they're all recliner chairs, so the guys all pushed themselves back so I can pass, but their chairs are still up, and I would see him. So I'm running in to get in, and I boom, and just fucking
Trips over my legs.
No, I hit the recliner. It wasn't the legs.
Are you hurt
whatever,
still?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still hurt. It's still in pain.
Sorry, Dan. I'm sure you'll be fine. We're ready to experience now Blade Runner.
Let's talk about Blade Runner.
Immediate, things. People get confused out right away. This is a sequel. This is not a remake. This is not just you.
I thought it was a remake until after the movie was over.
A lot of people.
Long?
I asked Dakota when we came out of the movie. I was like, "So, this is a sequel?"
Did you know Harrison Ford was in the first one?
No.
Oh my!
I didn't even watch the first one.
You're like, what is Han Solo?
We got a
doing?
lot. We got a lot.
I thought it was a robot, so it's just the same robot.
They're not robots, by the way.
Okay, well, guys, there's a whole
They're replicants.
What are you talking about?
This is a whole debate within itself, really.
I'm gonna trigger so many people in this podcast already. I can feel it.
That's fine.
The people who are probably coming to watch this are actually decent Blade Runner fans, I imagine. So that's why I wanted to make sure we had the opportunity to kind of study up a little bit. No Blade, no hints of Blade, no vampires, no Wesley Snipes are jumping in on this one. Just some good old classic. God, Harrison Ford.
Like,
in
not
his
that
prime,
weird of a question.
You know?
All right. Well, all right. I just want to get first thoughts, initial reactions. Did you like the movie?
My first thoughts walking away from the movie, I obviously was a bit perplexed, and I almost felt like I didn't like the movie. But this is a thinking movie, and upon reflection was something now I can find myself going back and seeing it again.
Yeah, I definitely want to see it again. Mine was that I really liked the movie. It's gorgeous. It's one of the best visual movies that I've seen in a long time. Roger Deakins is a beast. The story is terrible. It's like there's no reason for the story to exist. Even in the Blade Runner universe, I don't think it's very interesting. It's very flat and like bare, which is maybe what they're going for. But I would totally see it again. I really want to see it again. Even though it's a 3-hour-long movie. This is 3 hours. You've never heard of Blade Runner. You've never been a part of it. What did you think walking out of the theater?
So, I mean, I liked it. I thought it was worth going to see. I did not see the first one, so my initial reaction is that this movie looks really cool, and everything about it, maybe this was because I didn't see the first one, but every scene, there was so much random shit that was unexplained that it made me feel very small when I was watching the movie, just like just him walking down the street, just all this shit, him walking through Vegas, and there's like all these fucking statues of naked women, and then he's just like, every single piece of it felt like it was part of a much larger universe that could be explored, that they never really tell us. No character ever explains anything. They shit just happens, and suddenly there's this guy, and suddenly it's fucking the 30 Seconds to Mars singer. Fucking he's making shit, and he's stabbing some lady, and just like, what the fuck is going on?
That's what you think of you recognize Jared Leto as the 30 Seconds to Mars singer? First, more than an actor?
What?
Jared Leto.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, you think of him. That's interesting. I think that you think of him as 30 Seconds to Mars. I always think of Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, I always think and they got the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy, Drax. He's in there.
Batista,
yeah,
The wrestler.
he's amazing.
Yeah, he's great.
He's in it a little bit.
Dude, his performance was.
Have you ever seen a giant guy put on tiny glasses the way he does?
No.
Man, that was crazy.
I feel like they designed those so specifically for him. Like they just fit his eyeballs. They're very Morpheus in a way. And because he's so humongous, yeah, it's like a little, we have an emergency alert going off, mandatory evacuations.
Of what? Are we okay, Dan?
Might be a forest fire.
I don't know. There's fires in San Francisco. I don't know if that has anything to do with us or in the Bay Area. Totally sidetracked, but he's got those tiny little glasses. He has a great performance, and he's also part of very interesting how they marketed this movie was they created 3 shorts. Batista's in one of them, right? Did you get to watch any of those?
Yes. So,
if
we backtrack a bit here, obviously Blade Runner, this is a sequel to the original movie, which took place in the world of 2019, which seems...
I read the Wikipedia entry after
the movie.
After the movie.
I like, by the way, there's no exposition. You talk about how nobody explains. I like that.
All right. Hopefully you all can hear us right now when we are coming back live once again. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but maybe our windstorm knocked loose a brief internet socket or something. But Yeah, we had some crazy crash, and now we are back. So we'll try to figure out the whole VOD system. Again, appreciate your patience. We're getting back into it. It's Blade Runner 2049. I got myself, I got Dan, I got Ken. Ken coming into this one has not seen the original Blade Runner. He's coming this week.
Didn't even know it was a sequel.
I want to see this cool
the
movie that they're so hyped. Okay, so, and Dan, you were touching on it briefly there. There's 3 mini movies, short films that actually lead up to Blade Runner 2049, and they're actually super important because when you look at the timelines, original Blade Runner takes place 2019 in this crazy wet neon Tokyo-like post-apocalyptic future where they have invented or created replicants, human clones that can do slave labor for humans. And in 2019, it's so vast in the future that they're on other planets colonizing, farming resources because they farmed everything they could out of Earth that they have to farm other planets. Now, who would have thought in 2019 we'd be at this point, guys?
In 1983.
In 1983. So, Ken, imagine that if you're making a movie for 30 years from now, 40 years from now, would you say that we're colonizing other planets for resources, or do you think that seems way too far-fetched?
We don't even have a mission to Mars scheduled for the next, 5 years, right? It's 20.
Yeah.
Mars mission's 20.
I think we're a lot more realistic because those, the early 80s, coming out of the 60s where your space program is really popular, 80s, it still has momentum. You feel like it's possible in 40 years with all you've done in 15. And then all of a sudden we get a reality check, early 2000s, of we're kind of bored of going to the moon, guys. NASA's not really going to do anything. Government's going to pull funding, and we aren't doing anything else.
So this is what we need to be able to get to where Blade Runner is.
Slave labor replicants.
No, not just that. We need some sort of global catastrophe to force us to have to do it.
Well, to force us to work together to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To pool all our resources and do that. Like in Ender's Game, the fucking aliens arrived and killed everyone. That made everyone kind of pool all the resources toward it. And we don't have that right now. We don't have
the Blade Runner world.
We don't have the interstellar dust storms that kill all the food. We don't have anything that motivates us right
Sunshine,
now.
The
we just want to play video games and meme. We don't want to actually get to Mars.
So on the Blade Runner world, in their world, it gets to a point where I guess they've just used so many of the resources on Earth that they have to come together and we need to do something. So they somehow are so advanced that they've created these robot clones who are exactly like human. Yeah. They're robot. They call them replicants, but they are genetically bio-created. People.
They're grown. They're not robots.
They're straight to human.
There's no mechanisms in them. Not robots.
But what do you mean they're not robots? He goes through a wall.
He grows them. They're super. They're created. So every piece of them is grown in a different lab, and they're not built. They're not built like a robot is built from mechanical parts and has so you have a robot, right, which is mechanical. You have an android, which is a mix of bio and mechanical, and then you have basically these replicants, which are completely grown.
You're right. I don't want to. Maybe my apologies. I don't want to say robot, but I believe android has been thrown out there. They're just the perfect humans, so they perform perfectly, and they do have increased attributes where they can do superhuman things at times. Yes,
different ones have different.
They have
attributes.
Been built and created, and they go off to planets and stuff like that. And
they have ones for war that are designed to fight. They have ones that are designed to move equipment so they can lift more.
That are designed to
prostitute. Is that why he can just shoot
pleasure
really
models? Yeah. And that you can have different mods. So one can be they reference in the movie oh, you don't need the emotional mods, unless you want pleasure robots, it's not worth your money. Just get ones that don't think and just do.
There's tools. These are created tools to be able to go off and do things that humans don't want to do. Go to
how much do you think a
build
replicant
resources,
costs?
Whatever. In their world, I don't think they ever mention how much it costs to own a replicant.
I'm not even sure how the economy works in this.
You just buy a whole one, because he just goes out and buys that thing that allows his girlfriend to just walk around. That thing must have cost a lot of money.
Oh yeah. That's a whole 3D girl in real life.
Can we talk about that? We can talk about the girlfriend?
It's crazy because when you look at the new movie and you're looking at Kay or Ryan Gosling's character, it's known he's a replicant and he's buying a replicant kind of girlfriend. He's buying a fake girlfriend for himself. So you're just kind of like, dude, you're a android replicant. You don't have feelings. You need a girlfriend though. So that's where
it's simulated feelings. He has feelings. They're
simulated, but it's kind of like you have a girlfriend who's pushing for him to be a real person. This is where things are getting crazy.
That girlfriend, let's be real. That girlfriend pushes for what you internally want.
Yes, her whole
She's saying everything that he wants to hear.
Yeah, he wants to hear all that shit. So every single time she speaks, you're getting basically a true insight into what he's actually thinking.
Now,
right? That's like the whole thing.
Remember
That's the whole point of it.
later in the movie, Blade Runner 2049, when he sees the big version of Joy, the one with the blue hair that's naked,
Yeah.
and she comes
The
out
advertisement.
and calls him Joe.
Yeah.
Now imagine he's just like, well, is that something she was programmed to say to me the whole time? All that for nothing?
I think that's when he does. He does
boom.
kind of realize there
He's just
that
like,
oh man. Yeah.
Then you're looking at yourself. It's like, are all my feelings true? Are the things that it's a mind fuck?
Yeah, Kay's internal struggle in this movie is
It's
really
ridiculous.
interesting. And
I mean,
it's-
ultimately, all of our feelings are chemical reactions and like all that shit too. So
But
as
those
an
are
actor
designed.
too, he has to portray all those kind of emotions and keep it like this because you are a.
And the difference between
replicate.
them and us is that he is designed, and while many people think we are designed, not only does he know he's designed, he knows who designed him.
yeah, but like the design is not necessarily all the emotions. They've designed like a fucking. He has to operate
A
among
system.
these rules.
System.
So these emotions that are being created by his system that's designed theoretically could have been unanticipated by the people. Could have been completely.
Yeah,
new
the thing
and
is
whatever.
that he's part of the Nexus line, so that's what they called him when they were in the first movie.
Nexus
they're
6 in the
Nexus
first
6s,
movie.
and the thing with Nexus,
Nexus
6 is,
6.
yeah, they're a Nexus 6, which is like a phone now, right?
It's a
Or
phone,
whatever.
yeah.
It's a phone.
That's what's funny.
These are androids, though, in Blade Runner's world, who
The phones
have
are also
been-
androids.
Yeah, they are. It's true. They start misbehaving, getting emotions, and they had a bit of a breakout. They killed like 26 people, so that's when they banned them off Earth.
What?
Can't come to Earth. Yeah,
This is-
in the
okay,
first movie, that's what
flashback,
happens.
first Blade Runner, what happens there?
Off world in the colonies,
Okay.
the robots suddenly rebel and they kill humans.
Oh,
And
okay.
everyone's like, "Whoa, banned! No more on Earth. We don't want tools that are killing people." They
Banned.
ban them, and that's why they bring back Harrison Ford, Blade Runner. Like 4 replicants came to Earth now. They're not supposed to be here, and they're doing some shit. Harrison Ford, we need you. The guy we hired is already dead, so that's why Harrison Ford comes
The
back.
Blade
to
Runner
do it.
program is like special detectives who are tracking rogue Nexus and what they call retiring them, which is just killing them.
Okay.
This is
Yeah.
why they're shitting on Kay, Ryan Gosling's character in the movie, calling him a skin job, because they know he's a replicant, but they're not supposed to be on Earth at all. But he's like a special Blade Runner tool.
Wait, what?
He's a replicant. He's on Earth.
I know,
which
but
is
aren't there a
highly
lot of
illegal.
replicants on
Yeah,
Earth?
there's new at this point. There's new replicants.
Oh,
now.
he's one
But
of the old ones that they know he's an old one. I get it. I get it.
No, he's not.
He is not one of the new ones created by Wallace. He is one of the old Nexus. He's like a Nexus one.
He
an
is?
advanced Nexus one.
Yeah, that's why
Yes,
they
he
have to
is.
test him and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's why they have to test him.
Oh,
The new ones just obey. That's why he's demonstrating.
what do they
like,
make
this
him
dude will
say
kill
over and over?
himself.
What
The
do
new
they
ones
say?
obey.
What do they say? Make him say over and over in that testing thing?
Oh, it's a lot of behavior
Cage.
questions.
Like, what do you feel when you walk in and you told your lover's hand, Cage, and he's like, Cage, and like, what do you feel? And, blah, 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 and he's like, disappointed, and it just like goes over and over.
Yeah.
So the thing with that
That shit was
test
crazy.
is
That was really intense. That especially with the sound in the theater, I'm
Yeah.
sitting there and
It's
I feel
nuts.
like him. You're like, I'm like, oh my god, I'm dealing with all this shit. There's weird
it's some
noises going
crazy
on.
test to like.
They don't even
bring
let him
out,
answer the questions. He just says what they.
He repeats the last word. I think the point in this is to like identify when he
if he's off baseline.
off
is what it is.
baseline. Yeah.
That's the original test where they
You
found
can't
out
even
if they
see
were a
baseline.
replicant or not.
Baseline is a dot to you.
The rhythm.
So they have to test him because if he's off the rails, they're gonna have to kill him because they don't want these replicants killing people or whatever. Anyways, so in that first movie or whatever, Harrison Ford goes in, finds him. I'm just trying to make this super brief. I know a lot of people have already seen the first movie, but the replicants are looking to meet their creator. They're meeting their god because they want to extend their life. They created a fail-safe plan in those replicants, the old models, that they'll just die after 4 years.
But none of them know. They all know that they're gonna die, but they don't know how
Wait,
long
so-
they have.
Ryan Gosling.
Not the
should-
new ones. Not this is the old models. These are the old Nexus models. Had a 4-year
an old
lifespan.
model.
He's an in-between model.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there's a Nexus 6, a Nexus 7, a Nexus 8, and then the new Wallace creations.
Yeah.
That's actually technically how it goes.
You like that?
All right, man. We don't have to talk about that much.
It's
That
crazy.
sounds
Yeah,
like-
I'm saying there's a lot of that
The
Blade
lore
Runner
is
out
a
there.
lot. The
So
lore is a
yeah,
lot.
these 4-year ones, whatever. Harrison Ford comes back, he hunts them down, and he kills them. They really just want to live. At the end of the first movie. The end of the first movie is probably the best part of the whole movie, which is what everyone remembers. It's the last guy. He's spoilers if you haven't seen the old one. You know, he actually saves Harrison Ford's life and just says how now I'm about to die. His 4-year expiration is about to come up. He's about to die, and everything I know and all my memories are going to be lost like tears in the rain.
Oh
and
my
that's for
god!
that famous improvised line.
The actor improvises this line that's like the most legendary thing. And what's funny, you say the best part of the movie is the ending, which it is, but the true original ending is also what people would say is the worst part about the movie.
Dan, yeah.
What's the original ending?
So there's 4 different types of the original Blade Runner movie. There are 4 cuts, or no, 7. There are 7 cuts of the original Blade Runner.
Which one do they show though to everyone?
What do you mean? There's a different all through. So they had the original theatrical release, which was heavily changed by the studio. They added in voiceover over the entire thing. Harrison Ford goes in and dry runs the voiceover, and it's terrible. And they use his like first run, and they put it in the movie, and nobody thought it was actually gonna go in. The studio forces it in. If you've ever seen it, it is fucking awful. It makes you hate the movie. And then they changed the ending, where they literally have it's called the happy ending. And after the movie, they drive off into the sunset. Harrison Ford and the other replicant that he takes in the like most stupid, like, what is the point of everything if that just
what?
It's so bad.
Let me break this down. So yes, Dan's correct. They create inner monologue dialogue, but Harrison Ford actually does not really care for this dialogue at all because they end up adding it in after they film it.
Yeah.
So he does a terrible job. People think that he does the job so bad. He does it on purpose, so they won't include it. They end up including it. It's really bad.
Let me just say, so this is what's shown to everyone?
The original,
in the
theater.
And then they re-release it to be better? Or?
The original doesn't have it. So then they add it. Then they take a lot of it out.
Okay.
Then they add scenes. Then they put in scenes that were cut originally by the studio.
Jesus.
And then there's the original theatric cut. There's the international version. There is what's called the first director's cut, and then the final cut. And then there's variations of all of those. So we watched what's called the final cut. And you can only tell, it's so hard that the best way to recognize the difference if you're looking for it, and say you get a copy and you're like, I don't even know which one this is the runtime. The runtime of them is different, and you can tell the difference. So like ours was like
there
117
is some other
minutes.
differences to it. The big funny thing around this movie, though, is the qualm between the writer and the director of this movie, because they have 2 different visions for the movie. One is to push the idea that Harrison Ford is a replicant, and the other is that he is not. And what happened is the director, who's for Harrison Ford's character being a replicant,
original director is Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott. You know, he takes the writer's work and says, I want to add something in to maybe make people think that Harrison Ford's a replicant. So what I'm going to do is throw in this random unicorn scene that actually apparently comes from one of his other movies. He throws in this unicorn scene. And why this is important is because at the very end of the first movie, there's a significant character who's building all these origami animals all throughout the whole movie. And at the end of the movie, he drops down a origami unicorn, which kind of says, hey, I know your dreams and thoughts. I let you live and go. You're a replicant, by the way.
Yeah.
They never added that unicorn scene in. It would have just been a random whatever, and he went away. And
there's
a human
one more
and
scene in there too.
Android. So it's crazy. So, and even Harrison Ford himself has said that this guy's not a replicant. He's not a replicant.
So is he?
That's what's great about Blade Runner 2049, guys, is that
we don't know.
We still don't know.
They
leave it out there still.
I think Deckard's a replicant. In my opinion,
everyone's going to walk away,
hold on.
and they're going to have their own theories, and they're going to go to their own tales. And I can argue for both sides. I could.
Pardon me for being dumb, but isn't the whole point of him having a kid and being able to have a kid because he's a replicant?
No, because the big thing is now, what if
What?
Harrison Ford was a replicant?
No, the girl that had the baby is definitely a replicant.
Yeah, but it's not as cool if a human has sex with a robot and has a replicant and has a replicant kid. Of course that can happen. But 2 replicants having
It's
a
definitely
child,
not. That's like
that has never been a thing.
It's
in
like
all
I
of
fucked my
replicant
pillow
creation.
and now my pillow has a baby.
No, it's a design thing that has like you could probably create if like he fertilizes some like artificial egg that they make. That's totally different than a replicant fertilizing in a replicant egg. That's like completely different. What are you talking about? It's much crazier.
But the whole point is that they don't.
It's much crazier if he's a
Wallace,
replicant.
The new creator, like he has no way of creating replicants that can somehow reproduce. Like, this is not a thing.
The whole like thing of what he's trying to do now, and
no,
the
but
big.
Can I just? Sorry.
Yes.
Can I just?
No, go.
Yes. If he's not a replicant, then why is it such a big deal to get him? Why can't you just get any other fucking human and then just impregnate a random replicant? Like,
That's
I don't
what
understand.
they don't know. Tyrell, who created the original replicants, he got killed in the first movie, but he came out with Rachel, this new created replicant, the Nexon 7 line, and she was hard to. Harrison Ford tried testing her, and he found out at the end, but it took a long time to figure out, and something's off. Throughout the movie, she ends up saving Harrison at one point. He falls in love with her. They have this crazy sex scene that's like kind of rapey.
Questionable.
Almost.
It's very rapey.
Kind of rapey at most.
Who raped who?
Harrison
Ford comes
rapes
onto Rachel, and they have
Rachel.
a scene. All right, and
Okay.
Dude, it was made us. We were watching it, and we were both like, "Did he just rape her?" That was so weird.
So the crazy conflict that happens between that moment and the new movie is Wallace, this new replicant creator, sits down with Harrison Ford later in the movie and is like, so how do you know that you're not a replicant and we created those feelings to happen once you came together with Rachel? And you're just kind of like, what?
That, yeah. He's saying that basically,
He's trying to
there's
bluff
two
him
reasons he
almost,
wants
like-
him. Number one, he's the last living person who was involved in that arrangement where a replicant had a baby. Not only that, but he's the dad.
So
So
he might be a replicant.
There's
And-
no one else out there.
He might be a
Wallace
replicant.
just knows that there's something about this Rachel replicant and Deckard that is making new replicants, and he is now created. Now, shout outs to I don't know what her name is, who played Love, that female soldier.
oh
who's,
my
like, super
God,
buff.
she's from the Netherlands. Her name is something like
oh God, I
She
got
might be the
it.
scariest fucking villain I've ever
Dude.
seen.
Sylvia Hoeks.
Sylvia Hoeks. That
She
makes
is
sense.
She was
terrifying.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
she was.
she
super
might be my
good.
favorite character in the whole movie.
She's like, at any moment, she could just kill you.
When you first meet her, the best part about her is you first meet her and she's very unassuming and submissive. Like, she looks like a secretary replicant, and you know she's a robot. And like, there's a really interesting exchange between her and Gosling, and you're like, oh, that's kind of weird.
She opens a door.
Yeah.
It's like a giant steel door.
She tears open.
She shows her
"Ooh,
strength.
okay."
They have that fight at the end of the movie. I don't mean to jump all the way through the end of the movie
Oh
now,
my
but they have
God.
that fight, and she takes down I'm gonna call him Gosling. Takes down Gosling K, and is like, I'm the best. It's like, oh, a replicant who has drive to be the best and competitive. It's
Obsessed
like,
with it. Obsessed with it. She's so intense and scary, and like really feels like she could just destroy you. And she's so like
Great
tightly
performance from
wound the
her.
entire time. Isn't it weird though? Everybody in this movie, like all the replicants, all the people, everybody cries at least once, sometimes more. Like she cries like 3 times. She cries when Wallace kills the replicant that is barren, so he cuts her open. She cries when she kills the cop lady.
No, she doesn't want to do the killing. She doesn't like it when people die.
Yeah, she doesn't like it,
But she has to obey.
but she's such a crazy badass at the same time.
Well, no. She just has to obey
But
it.
then
So
here's
that's
she's
the
why-
one
of the
thing.
new Wallace obey replicant.
So here's how she's weird. She hates killing things that I think she likes, right? But she gains joy when she kills Kay's 3D girl at the end. She likes that. She does that sweet karate kick and smashes his little fucking human emoji scanner thing, and then she likes that. But every other time she's crying.
Let me ask you a question. To get back to the girlfriend thing, would you guys be satisfied with a hologram that kind of like,
If it's that good.
if it's good enough that it makes you fall in love with it, but you know it's like fake?
Dude, they had 2 scenes in this movie. So okay. All right, we're going to jump and we're going to just talk about the girlfriend.
Yeah, it's
Played
the most interesting topic.
Armis. Anna de Armas is her name, I
Anna
believe.
Armis.
Okay, she's fucking awesome. You
Joy
just
played by Anna
you
de Armas,
fall
yeah.
in love with her.
Yeah.
Let's start at her name, Joy, Joi. Does that remind you of anything in particular?
Yeah, it's the name of a fetish. It's called jerk off instruction.
Yeah, that's like almost like slap your head. So ridiculous that they
I
named
have
her that.
never heard.
Why
of
the
that.
fuck
You've
would they
never heard
include
of
that?
that,
Never
dude?
heard
As
of
soon
that.
You
yeah.
clearly do not do enough porn searching.
I don't.
Okay,
guess. I've never
JOI
heard
is
of
jerk
that.
off instruction,
Never heard
where
of that.
they
It
tell
actually
you
means
what
that.
to do.
It means that.
Yeah,
That's what it means.
Okay, and that's her name.
Wow.
All right, so wow. Okay,
Seriously, go to Google right now.
I'm okay. Yeah,
Go to
I
Google.
believe you. I
Whatever.
believe you
Okay.
guys.
So here, there's 2 scenes for
Why
me
do they call her that?
that are because she's like basically a sexual device that gives into your needs and tells you what you want, right?
I mean, when
The
they
guy
advertise her,
has to
she's
know, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
when
That's
they
what I
advertise her,
mean.
she's
Yes.
giant and naked. She's obviously like supposed to be like a pleasure tool almost.
Yeah,
if they're
she is.
putting her out on the highway with the haircut, butt naked, for drivers to probably get distracted and kill
And then go
themselves.
look, yeah, or
you
walking
know?
alone in the rain across a bridge like Kay does later.
But you know, this movie has that ongoing theme where it's about replicants and what is it that makes life? What is it that makes
What
you
is
have
it
a
like to
soul?
be a human? What is
You
it
know,
like to be
is it about
alive?
being human?
But she, in particular, I fell for her. I fell for the idea of it. I think there's so much of it
Like
that
her.
There
Like the
is
movie
okay.
Her.
Yeah, there's a history we have now. Her, Ex Machina, and now Blade Runner, as well as several others in the past couple of years, which are touching into this vein of like kind of like the idea that sex dolls are really close, that artificial intelligence is really close, and all of this like technology and things that are happening, that like immediate jump that
Sex
humans
dolls
are
aren't
doing.
really close.
Okay,
Kidding
well,
me?
AI and sex dolls are probably about the same way.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, you can have like a shitty sex doll, you can have shitty AI. That's like we're at pretty equal space with them. But when he comes home and she is like talking to him and like looking at him with the most like loving, adoring eyes and voice, I fell in love with her right there.
And we did not know she was you did not know she was first of all,
he's talking to her and
you
you
did not
don't
know
tell.
she's a hologram, and she's like preparing dinner, right?
Yeah.
She's like, oh, just a little bit long. It's like it's all fucking show.
Yeah, she's only a voice at first.
Yeah.
She hasn't even materialized.
It's it's a fake dinner. Like
He's like, do you want to have a drink, honey? And then he pours 2 and takes a shot for himself for each of them.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole interesting thing is it's Kay as a replicant who needs a companion for whatever reason.
Do you think of like you? So you're a big Amazon Echo guy. Were you when you're watching that scene? Were you
What's
thinking
Amazon
about
Echo?
Amazon Echo is Amazon's like little AI tool that.
Who's the voice?
The Google
Talk to it.
Home
Who's
that
the
we
voice?
saw in that clip and
Who's
stuff.
the voice?
Yeah.
of Echo?
Yeah.
It's
I
a
don't know.
computer generated voice.
Oh,
It's like
not like
hello,
Siri.
I'm Echo.
Yeah.
Yeah. All I was thinking about in that scene was like we're getting there. Like we are talking to devices, and in 2049, devices are probably going to talk back in that kind of way where you can have like, you know,
Personality.
he plays a song and then it acts like a human would, where the human tells you like this kind of anecdote. The computer like gets information about it and gives it to you in a way that's very like colloquial, and you're like, oh, we're just having a conversation. And I thought that was so crazy and scary. And another one of these notes that just touches so close to home. And then the second scene where I was super weirded out, super entranced, and was like, oh my God, I both am terrified by this and want this, is the sex scene. Does
That is a
anybody
very
want to touch
popular
that
scene.
first?
That's a very popular and very intriguing
Just having sex
scene
with
by a
2
lot of
people at once?
It's a threesome, all right there.
By the way,
Who wants to take a shot
Straight
at
up.
describing that scene?
Is that girl? That girl's a replicant, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Does she know
is-
she's a replicant?
The hooker?
Yes, we find out by the end of
Yes.
the movie that she's actually part
Yeah, but
of
at
the
the time-
underground.
at
She
the
does.
time.
Yeah,
Yep.
she knows. She's part of the replicant
Does he
resistance.
know at the time that she's a replicant?
Yes, we fought about it outside the theater, but yes, she definitely knows.
He knows that she's a replicant, and does the hologram know that she's a replicant?
Yes.
They all know.
Everybody knows.
Okay.
I mean, they all met outside, and that's when the 3 girls came, and they recognized Kay as a Blade
And all
Runner,
3 of
and
those
they
were
stepped away,
replicants?
and the one's like, I'm gonna hang out still.
I think it is because I don't think, first off, they're all very attractive, and you're living in this dystopian world where everything is disgusting. Why would the hookers are going to be made, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like your reasoning.
Yeah, okay. Who wants to try to explain the sex scene, which is both
Wait, that's crazy.
visually really cool?
So you have Joy, who is a hologram woman, and of course she's all about pleasing Kay and giving everything he could want. And how about sex? Well, we can't do that. I'm a hologram. So she enlists the services of a replicate prostitute that they ran into earlier in the
They don't
movie.
actually go through with it.
That Kay
her.
gave brief eyes for, and they did go through with it.
No, they stopped because he was
before.
uncomfortable.
Before, yeah.
Yeah.
The prostitute shows up, and they end up having a scene with both of them kind of merged as one. And
They have to sync together.
Yeah, they
she like
sync
walks
together.
into
It's
her
awkward.
and they sync.
And then
you
they
s-
look the same. It's
you,
like,
you
oh,
see
you're
both
like,
at
what the
once.
fuck?
It's so mind bending. The movie is
was just like,
crazy,
oh,
and
That's
that's
where the
whole
cinematography is pretty
thing.
crazy. You just begin to wonder, like, did they film this scene like 3 different times with them at different outfits?
I don't understand
and
even how
stuff,
they did it.
and-
No, the
yeah.
whole time
That
I was
sounds
trying to break
crazy.
it down, and it does seem like they filmed it like multiple times where they have a camera that they could track and repeat the motion. They have both actors do it, and then they, in post, mix them all together, and they're constantly shifting back and forth between different parts of the faces and the bodies, and you can see both at once at the same time. It is so mind-blowing.
Can you imagine in the future some married couple, the guy is going to be like, I really like this actress, and the wife's going to be like, let's mind meld my face with hers tonight.
Yeah, should we sync with her? What do you want me to do, you know?
That's going to be some crazy ass shit. Oh, man.
Everything is crazy
That's
about
gonna be
that.
crazy.
That's all the shit that,
That's gonna be
like,
crazy.
it's so human to, like, immediately jump to, like, what's all the ways I can, like, fuck this thing, you know?
That's everyone's first reaction. No matter what
crazy,
product comes out, someone's going to try and fuck it.
It's a great thing about the movie is that they show a lot of that stuff, like all these fun toys that we may be able to experience in the future potentially. That's likely in our own future as well. But a good thing about Blade Runner 2049 is that they take and make it the future of what was going on in the 2019 movie. They got these cool toys, but did you see all the dark shit that was actually going on in this movie? There was a scene with child labor as they were kind of breaking through these machines. Yeah. They had a brief note about wood and how, oh, you have that, you must be rich. So wood is apparently something of the wealth. Those resources of the earth are completely gone.
Well, she's like never seen a tree before.
Yeah.
One of the Hooker Rebellion girls.
It's a very dark future, and I like how they keep that theme.
Like, the whole movie feels crazy tension because the director makes it so that it's just like every scene holds for a really long time, and then there's random, almost out of left field crazy violence that ramps from 0 to 100 instantly every fucking time. So like when people die, they just instantly die, and like there's no like anticipation, there's no music, they're just dead.
They're gone.
Like, he's just sitting there, he's surrounded by people, all of a sudden there's an airstrike, they're all dead. He's standing there with the shopkeeper guy with the sweatshop, he just punches him directly in the face. The fucking female robot.
Oh, when she punches the guy in the back of the head.
He just fucking kills her. Like, or she kills him like instantly.
That's the first time we see her power.
What the fuck?
It's like them just like showing off the power of the technology.
It was
they have
so
like
silent.
That satellite rocket machine. They're like, just showing you we got that.
She's getting her nails done. She's just like, fire.
Yeah, holographic video nails.
Fire.
Which reminded me of the Total Recall scene where she's painting her nails in the office and it's all changing color. But this time, this guy's like electronically creating like video screen animations on her nails, which is just like, I don't know, it's so cool. That's the kind of stuff that's like detail stuff that I love. But you're right. The imagery is so beautiful and serene and silent because there's very little dialogue in this movie. Instantly. So when anything happens, it's very shocking and jarring and upsetting, which I think is what they're trying to do here, right? And it's because it's all about being human and like having these replicants go through very human things. Like, I'm reminded now, okay, so the scene that you guys are talking about, and one I think people always talk shit about Gosling because they think he's a very robotic actor, and then he's playing this, like, you know, essentially a robot in this movie. But the one scene where it really paid off for me is when they're going to the junkyard with the little kids, and they're flying over, and they get harpoon electrocuted, and then they're crash landing, and so you have the pleasure model AI is freaking out because she's supposed to be emotional, and he is just like, totally normal, and this plane is crash landing and he's doing all this stuff but like not moving his face and he doesn't care. That was so cool to me. It was just like, that was great. That was one of my favorite
breaks
things.
That guy,
yeah, and then he picks up a guy and just cracks
Bane
him over
Batman
his knee.
him that guy, and
he baned him. Yeah,
he just banes that guy instantly. I was just like, whoa, the fuck.
I really liked Ryan Gosling's performance in this. It was
you
very
did?
Good. I did
a lot of people are hating on him.
I don't think they should.
Who was your favorite performance in this movie?
Favorite performance in this movie?
I can walk through. So okay, you have Kay Gosling, who's, you know, a robotic replicant. You have Armis, the Joy love hologram.
Yep,
girlfriend, perfect girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
You have
my favorite is her.
Perfect girlfriend.
Yeah, I think she did a great job.
She definitely is believable in that. I fell in love with her. You know,
she was very like attractive. Sold it well.
That's what you got, Ken.
What?
I thought a lot of them had actually really strong performances, considering maybe like they didn't have like a strong showcasing throughout the whole movie, but they had great, strong moments. For example, Lieutenant Joshi, I hope I'm saying that right, played by Robin Wright. She was the one who had the whole glass in hand breaking moment. Do you remember that whole thing?
That was crazy.
Oh, the cop.
I couldn't even watch that. That was crazy.
You know, she had that super strong send-off scene right there. It's kind of like an FU to replicants in that moment. You know, she recognizes Kay's baseline measurements totally off. She ends up letting him go for like, you know, get this kind of head start, and then she gives this like big FU performance to the replicants.
But if she really
right there at the end.
knew what it was, but like she wouldn't have let him go, right?
Yeah, she's also so stupid. She also tried to fuck him at one point, by the way.
She didn't try to fuck him. Like
she
definitely
She did.
She was like, "What if I drank the rest of the bottle?"
Yeah,
that's definitely happened before.
They wanted her character to like kind of put up those vibes that's just like, I know you're a replicant or not, but I mean, you look like Ryan Gosling, so
yeah,
you know,
she both hates them. It's the human thing. This whole movie where we hate these things, right? She hates them openly.
I don't know if she
hates them.
Yes, she does. She's like, at one point she's like, you know, even though you don't have a soul, I think you're pretty okay. You know, like, ugh, what a fucked up thing to say.
She's just treating
him
like a tool, really.
No. She has an agenda, and her agenda is she does not like the replicants. I really think that's the.
I think all humans hate.
She was
replicants.
Like freaked out that the idea of it getting out.
She may hate him, but the fact of the matter is, Kay in this movie is in her eyes, the only tool that can go and find who this kid is and what this is about, because the fact of the matter is that if it gets out there that replicants are able to childbirth, there's going to be a mass global freakout about it.
Yeah, and why she picks K is because, number one, she knows he's better than a human that could ever do any job like that.
Yep.
And I think she resents that. And the scene that you're talking about, which I personally think that Love, the character who's the replicant,
Who's awesome.
who I think is the best performance in this movie, period. And I think she steals that scene because
say
she's
that.
simultaneously crying, crushing this girl's hand, showing her strength, revealing this like vulnerability of like, I want all these things and we're going to destroy the human race because we're better and you hate us because we're better than you, and I'm like dealing with that. And then smashes her head on the table at the end for this amazing little exclamation point. But
No, she doesn't smash her head. She just holds her head up to get the verification. She just lets it go.
oh,
and
she just
doesn't
drops
care,
it.
and
Right, you're right. She
bangs
just
on her
drops
head.
it. Yeah,
The nonchalance of like that is just funny.
Oh,
Yeah,
I agree.
totally,
Love's
totally.
performance is fucking amazing. I was just saying there's a lot of strong performances at strong moments here. I feel even Harrison Ford had a great showing in this movie too. For
Really?
a man who is holding on to 3 decades worth of shit to bring it out and have someone like Kay approach him.
Which
I think he
scenes did
did a
you
great
like
job.
with him? I thought he felt like you could have taken old
the whole
Indiana
scene
Jones,
where he
old
sat
Han
with
Solo.
Wallace, he
and-
sat down with Wallace, and had that whole scene where Wallace is kind of intriguing him about the idea that maybe he's a replicant and your feelings could have been auto-generated once you saw Rachel. And then he brings Rachel out to Harrison Ford, and he has that very deep moment in connection with Rachel, and then just like be able
Yeah.
to shrug it off with like the
He
her
loses
eyes are
himself
green.
for a second.
Yeah, like
You
I
forget,
think-
like everything else goes away and he just sees Rachel.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Harrison Ford has performances where he does these kind of reboots and bringbacks where it's just kind of feeling like old Harrison. But I think for old Harrison, like this is one of his best bringback performances for me.
I think that you bringing up that makes me think maybe he was better, but it felt like you could take old Han Solo, old Indiana Jones, old any of these characters, and it's the same performance from him.
Yeah,
Not that
they
any of them
need
are
to have-
bad.
They need to have them.
I like
though.
them all.
If they want to make Blade Runner 2049, they want to have Deckard, they have to have Harrison Ford.
Can
in
I
this
ask
movie,
you guys a
I don't think they
question?
need to have Deckard.
What's with the one eye woman, and why does she only show up once? Is she in the
though?
original
So,
movie?
do you want me
No,
to actually
she's
explain who
not.
the one-eyed
She
woman
just
is?
shows up and then she's just cool.
She's leading the
She's like, all right, one scene, I'm out.
replicant rebellion.
And that's a scene they introduced the replicant of rebellion, and they never mentioned.
She's
it
in
again.
one other scene.
What is she? Else is she in?
She's the one who walks over to the hooker girls in the beginning and tells them to go talk to Gosling.
I did not know that.
So now, yeah, I think we should get into the subplot of this movie.
This
that
is where I'm actually I was a bit unnerved that Dan said the story is not good.
the story is shit. By the way, this movie has a completely vapid and
Because when that moment when Kay
Worthless
speaks
story.
with her and finds out that he is not the child, if you guys did not just like, right there, then you were not paying attention to the movie properly.
no, okay.
I'm
Here-
serious, and I believe a lot of people out there are going to agree with me.
I
If you were not
think that you're
following along,
right.
if you did not feel a drop right there, because Kay's performance in the whole movie is that he gets to a point where
It's
he's
like
led to believe
meaningless, yeah.
that like he is the child. Oh my God, the horse is here. That's my memory. That's real. And
Yeah.
he finds out. Oh, and then she just goes, "Oh, you thought you were the one. It's a daughter," and then just goes away. And Kay's just like, "Wait, what?" And everyone's just like, "Wait, what?" And then he just
Well,
puts it together. It's like,
I
holy
thought-
shit.
So I thought that was like a Neo Oracle moment where she's telling him what he needs to hear at the moment to like do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
I
he's
thought
the
he might
golden
still be the-
child
he still
chosen
might
And then she's
be
one.
like,
it.
but you still, well, I can't remember the exact line, but it was kind of like you need to make sacrifice if you want to, something or other. I can't remember what the
Yeah.
saying
They,
was.
they did. I don't know.
Some
They
crazy
definitely
shit to
hammed
drop
up
your-
the chosen one thing.
Could you imagine like you're just like living your whole life and then someone just comes up to you and is just like, oh, by the way, you're not actually a person.
That's a replicant life. That's what they did with this movie to show
crazy.
like that's
The
that's
one part about it
replicant
is
life.
that if it had been the other way,
Yeah, actually, Dan.
and he was the chosen one, I think that would have been so lame. So for me, I was more breathing a sigh of relief. Oh God,
Well, yeah.
it's just a red herring. They're not being super stupid and boring, and it's actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, but that's what they want everyone. They want everyone to go, okay, he's the child. Yeah. Oh, the memory. Yep, I confirmed it for sure.
Of course, he's the child.
Yeah,
But there's
It's like-
those moments when he's like sitting there and looks over the birth records and sees that there's twins
Yeah.
and they're the same, and it's kind of like, well, that's weird. And then you learn later from Deckard or Harrison Ford that I scrambled those records. And you're just kind of, huh.
Even
And
that
then-
scene, by the way, is really cool because you think about. I'm not going to detract. Keep going.
No, it's just like you scramble the records. You're kind of not putting it together until you hear it from the woman herself.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
rebellion. It's like, it's not you. And then he finally manages to figure out that it's that girl, the memory girl. The memory girl, the one who makes the best memories because they're her memories.
So okay, there's a couple things about the Memory Girl, the Horror Rebellion, and Wallace that are like integral to the plot. Okay, everybody is using K. The replicants are using K because he's the only one that can get them.
Everyone
what they want.
wants to find the child. They want to find the rebirth. So everyone's following K to get to that point.
They're all trying to manipulate him. He is the ultimate tool. Everybody, the good guys, the bad guys, are manipulating K.
There's
to
no
get
good
what they
guys.
want.
There's no good guys.
There aren't any good.
Yeah,
well,
the good guys are kind of using K as
I mean,
a
I know
decoy
Jared
almost.
Leto's like kind of the villain in it.
he's the villain for
but
sure.
he's kind of advancing society. So who's really?
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing.
villain
Is
here?
his mission is? Can you really argue with it? He wants to put
He
human
wants to be like the
population
God Emperor.
in everywhere.
Let me just say, if there's some guy, if Elon Musk wants to do what that guy's doing and take us to like different planets and shit, I'm all for it though. Let him go do that
Yeah,
shit.
and if he
I don't
wants to
care,
have
man.
AI do it, you're gonna be like, all right, better them than me.
Later, man. Like, let's just go.
Which is the whole point
Yeah.
of these movies is to like say, well,
I don't even think he's a villain. Like, he's like obviously like he's like killing. But is that replicant even alive? He kills the fucking replicant, right? It's just like, it's really alive. Like
Which replicant?
the one he just stabs.
the one that he's trying to make one that can have babies. She's barren, and then he
Yeah.
cuts her stomach open.
Yeah, I mean, he hits the whole thing.
It
He's
is
like,
really
I need to find out the
uncomfortable.
secret because I want to mass colonize all these planets, and
Yeah.
I can't just make that much. If I could put a bunch on a planet and they just reproduce on that planet, but they obey me, that'd be great.
Like,
that's what he wants. But he doesn't know the secret. The original guy who made him knows the secret.
It's a
Left
very-
that secret with Rachel. He died, so the secret's with Rachel, and it's with Harrison Ford, and they got to figure out what it is.
It's like that scene was like incredibly uncomfortable. He's like murdering someone, but really,
Love is crying.
But really, if you think about it from his perspective, he's making a fucking car, and this car has like a faulty wheel, and he just
Yeah.
like scraps the car. You know, that's
Well,
how from
in
he,
one
that's
of
how
the-
he thinks about
in
it.
one of the short movies before,
He's
it's-
making a
it-
car to drive fast and drive slow.
in one of the short films before, to just kind of give you the stage, is like he sits down with the, I don't know what it is, the government that has outlawed replicants, and he's like, my replicants are different, they obey, and he has one of the models with him, and he has it kill itself in front of him. If you think that's disturbing, like in the short film, they have it kill
Yeah.
himself in front of him to get, like,
It's really
it
weird.
obeys, and they're just like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's how he convinces
holy
them to
fuck.
let
Yeah.
him start producing them again. Is that he's secretly been producing his angels, and he brings one to the meeting. They don't know it's a replicant. He's like, "This is a replicant. Watch. You don't think they obey?" And he tells the replicant, he gives it a choice. He says, "You have a choice. You have to kill you or me." And the replicant goes, "Okay," and then it kills itself.
Yeah.
Like,
So that's how they're kind of able to start making replicants again. Like, these are the mass obey ones, and they do continue to mass obey. It's just they're on a hunt to remove all these old models that
So-
are not obeying, and those old models are suddenly making a rebellion. That's that rebellion.
So
that
those are
alluded
all
to.
old models, and they want to reproduce, and that's why to
They have
actually
the
get more
secret
numbers.
of
yeah.
reproduction.
How many
And
are they? How many are there?
I don't
of those?
know. That's the thing, is they leave so many questions in this movie
And
still.
wait,
for
and so
potential
Fucking
sequels.
one-eyed woman just shows up. There's like all these people, and I'm just like, what the fuck
and
is
One-Eyed
going
Woman
on?
wants the
And then
same
it's just
thing,
gone.
by the way.
They're
She
just
wants the
gone
same
after that.
exact thing.
Oh
One-Eyed
my
Woman
God.
and the Horror Rebellion want.
You know why she's one-eyed, right?
No.
No.
You had to rip that eye out. That's the eye they check when they're replicants. You remember the interviews on the stuff when they're looking close in the eye and all that?
That's like the tattooed eye.
She ripped her eye out, so it's not easy to tell she's replicant. I don't know if it ever helped her or not, but it's kind of supposed to be like an anti-replicant.
Yeah, it's like
statement
super.
thing.
Look
Yeah.
how visual I am that I can do this. But she wants to have babies so she can build an army to take over humans.
Okay, so she's kind of evil.
She's also.
I don't know if they hate humans. I don't know if that was put out there that the replicants are there to just take over and be.
I guess to
as
free
humans
themselves.
As close. Like it's like, well, they want to be humans themselves.
They believe
you know?
that reproduction is the key to being a human, to
Your
be having
own
a soul,
creator,
to be
yeah.
to be something that is like not a machine or whatever, or not soulless. I don't know.
It's
all
great. The
crazy.
movie's great because it leaves a lot of those questions out there. So that if the movie was to do well, they could have a movie that explores the replicant or rebellion. They have a
Another
movie
30
that
years?
continues to explore if Deckard's a freaking replicant or not. They leave a lot of those
2079?
questions out there. Yeah,
Are we going to try to keep this in an hour?
I don't know what we're currently at or anything.
It's an hour and 5 minutes. But I want to touch on one thing quickly about the guy. So the cinematographer of this movie is a guy named Roger Deakins. He's got like, I don't know, 70, 80 credits to his name. He did pretty much Shawshank, all the Coen brother movies, so like Fargo, No Country for Old Men.
That was this guy?
Skyfall,
Yeesh.
A Beautiful Mind, all this shit. The guy's never won a fucking Oscar. Okay?
That is
He
ridiculous.
didn't
Do
win a
you guys think he
cinematography
can
Oscar
win?
for No
No.
Country for Old Men?
No, he's only been nominated. He's
Huh.
never won. He's like basically, if you talk to any DP or like camera nerd, he's everybody's idol right now, and he has been for about 20 years. but he's never won an Oscar. Do you think he's going to win an Oscar for this movie?
I don't know. I mean,
They don't really like sci-fi.
No.
Oscars don't like sci-fi. They didn't
don't.
like Interstellar. They didn't like this.
Well, they
That's what
nominated
made the
Mad
first
Max.
movie so special is like when a movie like
Mad
that
Max is
came
not
out
really
at the time,
sci-fi, though.
that was
But it's, like,
just something.
fantastical.
The first Blade Runner was something like you never had seen, and they were using like all the models still, and it just looks so beautiful.
They like fantasy though.
You bring up that stuff now, we see it every other week.
It's
feels
getting
like.
normalized.
You got to make it
Heavy
really
visual
something
effects
special.
is getting normalized, and we're starting to be like, or like the Oscars are starting to recognize it more and more.
Yeah.
I think he's going to just because it's insane that
it's
he
great.
hasn't. And the movie, the highest pedestal that has to stand on is the visuals. It is unbelievable. Him and the director, the Canadian, the director before this did Sicario. He did
Arrival.
Arrival
Which
last
I really
year.
liked, and had crazy fucking visual. That movie was fucking a trip too.
A very
Prisoners.
human sci-fi
My
movie.
favorite scene from that movie was when they're going up into the alien ship for the first time, and it reorients you based on what direction was up. Yeah, that was fucking crazy. Like
Amazing.
That movie's crazy.
His
Apparently
first
he just loves to do stuff with like. Oh, this is the new director you're talking about, right?
Yeah,
Dennis,
it's a
okay.
not
Carrie,
really.
right,
Sad.
yeah.
Did you see
Villain New York
Prisoners?
or whatever? I did not see Prisoners.
Prisoners is really. Have you seen Sicario?
Yeah.
Sicario is fucking awesome.
So, hey, can I just ask a question? What was your favorite visual scene in the movie if you had to pick one right now? The one that just pops into your head right now when I ask a question.
I don't know. I think of like the kids like working on all that stuff. It's like the first thing.
That's
That
your
pops in my
favorite
mind.
one?
It's pretty.
Okay.
I don't
What
think
about
it's
you?
visual though. Like they have
The
like all
No,
the first one I think of is the desert scene when he's walking into Vegas and it's like a orange gradient and it's just him alone, and all you see is
Mine's
like
the B one.
when he
the
reaches
bees.
in.
No, it's just like it's like the desert. It's like red or orange, and he's just like a random fucking beehive in the middle of nowhere, and you're just like, what the? I was just like, what the fuck?
Fun fact, that was a
uh,
fun homage to the first movie. If you remember the very beginning of the first movie when they're doing the replicant test, like you're in the middle of a desert and you're walking out. There's a tortoise. It flips over.
Oh,
That's a fun homage to the
nice.
first movie, that apparently.
Well, that's what that's from.
That's the thing is like that's why I also think the movie's cool because throughout the movie you'll as someone who's not seen the original you're just kind of like learning new elements. You see
Yeah.
Rachel like oh that's Rachel whatever.
I really
but
like
people
that.
who saw the original are like oh my god that's Rachel or oh my
Yeah.
god they're playing the interview that Harrison Ford
Yeah.
gave her in the movie and oh my god that it's like they gave little Easter eggs.
And I think they could
for
have
the
been
original
way
Blade Runner.
worse. They could have been bad with Easter eggs. I think they were really.
It
good
really
with
feels like
Easter
this
eggs.
universe is just huge. It's expansive.
It's so much bigger
There's
when you go
crazy
back and
shit
read over it.
that
Yeah. Oh
there
my
is
god.
unexplained.
It's so big and cool that I almost wish that this was its own thing. And people are saying, oh, it's very standalone. I really don't think it is. It's very much so a continuation of the story. It's a
They
lot
just
like
do this. They just divert a bit. They don't keep going down
Yeah.
and find out Deckard and everything that's happening there. They just go, let's explore more about
they
the
could easily do a
replicants and what they
spin-off
want.
TV series
in the
that
world.
follows the world. You know,
Because you don't get to know anything about the world.
exactly.
And I want to know more, and I want to see more of the cities, and I want to feel like I'm there. This felt like to me the first, the new Star Wars, where we get reintroduced to the universe, and we basically spend most of the movie though like cleaning up old ties and like dealing with old stuff. And this is like the same thing. Although at the end, we kill the new character that we meet, and now we have to
Wait, is
start
he
all
dead?
over. He's dead.
He died at the end there.
I didn't really think about it. I had trouble
What do you
thinking about
mean
him. He's dead, but he's definitely dead.
Definitely,
He's definitely dead.
I didn't think that.
Here's a deep moment.
He's dying.
You
wanna
want to know
know
how? Here's wait. Let me get.
How do you
Wait,
know
are you?
he's
What are you
dying?
Go
gonna
ahead.
say?
Go ahead.
Okay.
No, I'll finish.
So the number one reason he dies is that the music. This is what you're gonna say.
Nope.
The music cue that plays when he lays down on the stairs at the end, K, is a song, a score called "Time to Die" from the original Blade Runner, which is a scene where the replicant dies.
Okay,
He definitely
sounds
does
compelling.
die. That's
It's a
just-
pretty good argument.
Here's a fun deep moment. This is something that someone had pointed out on Reddit, so I'm not taking credit for this at all. But the scene of where Kay, it's like right around that point when it's like snowing and he's hitting his hand and kind of realizing like what it may actually be like to be a human. And then they cut to the actual daughter, the memory girl, inside this bubble creating fake snow and trying to be able to touch it. It's just such this like, wow.
It's so weird. By the way, does she? So she implants. That's her memory.
Mhm.
She implants that in
Now
all
imagine
these
he
replicants.
comes to her and she's seeing that memory in him.
That's why
Remember,
she's
looking at
crying,
it, and
yeah.
she's just like freaking
She's
out,
like-
but she
she's
doesn't say, "Oh, you're the fake replicant," by the way, or anything like that.
Yeah, no.
She's like, yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
She's like, it
like,
is
yeah, it's
real.
real. This
So
is a
he's
real
just
memory.
like, I'm real, and she's just like, he has my memory. It's
Yeah.
like, whoa.
But here's the thing: the Hooker Rebellion people have seen that horse and they've seen the memory. And then the one-eyed woman says, "We all think we are it when we see it." Anna is implanting her own memories into all these replicants. She is causing all this to happen
as a decoy almost.
But as what? She's building an army. She's putting herself into all these, or is she not doing it on purpose? Is she just putting her memories into these replicants, and then that's triggering this thing in the replicants where they think it's them, and they think they're their baby, and they all come together and they start doing these things, and it's just like happenstance, and it's just like she inadvertently caused it.
They all see it?
They talked about it. The woman says, we all think we are the one when we see it. And the Hooker replicant in her thing sees the horse and says, oh my God, it's the horse from the dream.
My question is, though, why isn't that specific spot in the factory constantly being visited by replicants then?
Because they all think it's a dream. And then they think it's them, and they don't track it down.
It's one of I get.
He's the only one that tracks it down.
He's in that particular. He happens to be there for other circumstances.
He has the resources and the information to track stuff down.
Understood.
And so in his mind, he sees the horse there. He's like, I'm fucking real. It's me. I'm Harrison Ford's son, or whatever. So he's going there and he visits him. He's like, I got questions for you.
Hey, Dad.
And he's just sitting there like,
I like that he never says it.
Yeah, he's not like, he's just like, okay, whatever. It's just, then you go along with that. And then that's why the dagger in the heart is that woman going, oh, you thought you were the one? No. It's like, bah!
That's like a girl. You know what that's like? It's like you go on what you think is a date with a girl and you try to kiss her and you're like, and she goes, oh, you thought this was a date. And, that's the same exact, terrible thing. You're like,
this is when I come back, and it's like it takes me this much to reflect on the movie to go back and kind of reappreciate Gosling's performance just a little bit more because he's got the stone cold killer
rewatching it,
thing.
it's even more crazy.
That's the thing is that's why I know some of my good friends I went back and rewatched it right away, and I left the movie and I felt guilty because I wasn't giving it enough credit until I went back and I'm like, I really want to know more about Blade Runner's universe to really appreciate this, and when you do, you really begin to appreciate it. And there's still just so many unanswered questions there that could be answered.
What do we think of the ending? How do you feel about the ending?
Again, I feel like they kind of leave it out there because
wait, so what happens after
the ending is
spoilers.
He's convincing Harrison Ford, you need to go see your daughter.
Harrison Ford sees his daughter.
The memory girl. Go see her. She creates the best memories. She's your daughter or whatever. He dies in front. Harrison Ford goes in. They see each other, and it kind of does end right there. She doesn't know who he is. Let's remember that. It's not like he's ditched her since
I am your
get-go.
father.
He
gets to finally
Rachel
deliver
away
that
while
line.
She was pregnant. So yeah, the next movie or whatever would start with just I am your father. It's Han Solo or whatever. So it's just kind of they leave it there, and now you're stuck with all these questions. Still.
I didn't like the ending.
You're just you get to walk away with. I mean, this thing is the people who come into this new movie and are just so diehard I hope they don't say Deckard is a replicant, or I hope they do say Deckard's a replicant.
They don't.
They get to
don't
walk
ever
away.
say anything.
They get to walk away with yet still going. I get to keep my theory.
Again.
That part is good, but ultimately it's just I didn't like the ending.
2 movies in a row where he has that really loud bass noise. Where you're just walking and just nothing's happening, but what scene is now? I think of the scene it's not the beast scene. It's the scene of the water. Okay.
The fight scene.
The 99% of movies, after that fight scene's over, they cut to them walking to the space, the place where their daughter is. But they hang on him pulling him out of the water and sitting there for fucking 5 minutes, dude. It felt so long.
Wait, that is a con of the movie.
Oh,
it
right
was
after.
so long. After he kills what's her face,
Love,
and pulls Harrison Ford out of the water. I was expecting her to jump out like a shark and kill them because the scene was just kept going, and I was just something's gonna happen. What's gonna happen? And then it's just them struggling onto this I think it was a wall or something. It was the Mid-Atlantic Wall or something like that.
I don't know. It was a dam that they have.
And they're just
there to deal with all the water.
And the whole time it lasts 40% more than I thought it would last.
They just
every
feel
scene in the movie was like that.
They have to bring in those kind of elements from the first Blade Runner movie.
They
love that just to drag it out.
Yeah.
Even the horse stuff. He's taking the horse. First, he takes the bag with the horses in.
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh, it's a horse. Hold on. It is a horse. And we're all just can you just show us the date now?
Yeah, there's
He's
unwrapping
hold on.
it.
Hold on. It's under there. And and there's the date.
But
and you're just like, you could have just opened
every
it, took it
shot-
out, and showed
but
the bait.
no
Arrival.
shot-
Arrival
okay.
is also like that though.
Yes.
They held everything for super long in Arrival also.
And no shot though feels like it's like a throwaway shot and then it's like hastily put together or edited in. They're all gorgeous and immaculate and perfect, and that's why I feel like he's holding on to me. He just really wants you to see everything
Take
that
it
they
in.
did together.
Take in the
You know,
water.
like it's all
Yeah,
about
it's
how
just-
gorgeous this visuals are in this movie.
There's no Taken 3 jumping the fence on this one.
14 cuts not happening. No.
That
Not on
last
this
fight
one.
scene, though, I think is actually one of my favorite moments in the movie. That was just.
I think
whole
Eric's being funny
super,
here, guys.
Super nutty.
I think
right here.
Eric's already dead.
What I just want to finish with is
Last
just like
thing, okay.
the diehard Blade Runner fans who may or may not be hoping for a sequel. Apparently, this movie, I guess at a general initial breakout was a bit of a disappointment. $31.5 million. It
They
cost them
predicted
about,
50 million.
Yeah, it cost them about $150 million. Now, you know, like the original movie, maybe there'll be people who reappreciate it, turn it into a cult. They'll watch it. They'll
There was
get
no one in the theater when we
they'll,
watched
they'll
it.
get the Blu-ray
No.
special probably. It'll
Opening
get
day.
up there,
There was
but
only a couple
I think
people.
overall it did not meet the expectations people were kind of hoping for. I don't know if this means it's
I
going to
don't
be a
get it.
sequel
3
or not.
hours long, dude.
I think that's what people
It's a little long.
They couldn't deal with that time.
It's long, and it is not a happy movie. Let me just put it that way. It
Yeah.
is not Avatar, where the good
Guardians
guys
of the
win
Galaxy.
at the end. There's no comedy in this.
Cons,
It's like
the comedy is actually one of my cons too. Is that they tried to do some comedy and I feel like it just fell flat and they shouldn't even.
There's
what
no
did they
comedy.
even do?
Oh god, now I just forgot about it. What was it? There was a scene with Batista, I think, actually at the beginning, and I noted it
The
here.
protein
somewhere,
and the garlic and
it just falls flat. Like it feels a
Every-
bit forced. I think
no.
Ford even has like a
I think
one-liner
Ford
moment.
tries to be funny, and he's not.
It falls a bit flat, and they didn't even need to do that.
Elvis. Yeah, okay.
Stuff was dragged out a bit too long. I don't know if that's something they're carrying over from
that was
Blade Runner
intentional.
stuff, but you know,
was
scenes
intentional.
just kind of being stretched. It felt like some stuff could have certainly been cut out a little bit.
I was
Of all
never
the
bored though. I was never
performances-
bored.
Of all the performances, Jared Leto is probably the one I found a bit weaker compared to everyone else.
That
He of
freaked
course
me out,
is
dude.
the Wallace. He's the bad
He's
guy.
blind, right?
Why do they have to make him blind? I don't know why he has to be blind. This is a super genius. Imagine putting together like all of the smartest people on the planet. He somehow has come up with the capability of creating replicates and colonizing all the planets and controlling all of Earth's resources essentially. And he's like a weird blind guy who
I
does
think it's
this
a
stuff.
weird.
I don't know. I
it's
think
a
he could have
weird
been a bigger
homage to the
presence.
eyes of the last one, where you had the red eye effect, which was like this cinematography genius, where they took sheets of half transparent, half like reflective mirrors, and they shined lights through them and then they put the camera in between the sheets to get this reflection in their eyes, and all the replicants had that effect on them in like specific scenes in that movie. And now in the new one, they just have a tattoo under their eye, which is like, it's funny to think all the work that went into making that effect in the other one, and this one they just slap a fucking VFX on top of their eye. But then I feel like his eyes are like that as an homage to that, but ultimately it's confusing because if you do know that's a reference, you're like, oh, is he a replicant? And you're like, no, wait,
Yeah,
he's
I
blind?
found myself stuck
What?
with that question there. You're just kind of looking at him, and I'm not even hearing what he's saying because I'm like, oh, that dude, is he a replicant? Wait,
It
why
looks
are
cool.
his eyes weird? Did they get some weird replicant eyes since 2019
Look,
to now?
did you notice that in mine, Peter put my eyes, he
Yeah,
made me blind?
Yeah, he did a great job with
Dude,
that.
I mean, it looks sick, right?
Yeah.
But it is weird.
My favorite part of this is Tiffany's bathrobe that you're using.
Yeah, that is great. Look at the polka dots.
Shout outs to them. But I feel like he could just been, considering the figurehead power, like this is a figure of more power than we've ever seen in our current lifetime. I felt like it could have been played somehow a bit better. Maybe it's someone else could have done. Maybe Jared himself could have done it a bit better. I felt like it could have been just a bit more of like a,
But the reasons-
a guy who controls
but
all
you
of
said-
the planet resources.
You said the reasons why it didn't open huge. Not a very positive movie. I think people think it's going to be depressing and like sad, or like bleak. I think is a good
Bleak
good
is a
term.
great word.
It also didn't have to be R-rated. It was rated R, just probably because there was a lot of boobs in the movie.
There's a butt.
It
You
is
can get away with
hold
one
on.
sex
The
scene.
violence is R.
Yeah.
That crushing hand scene would not exist in a PG movie. Let me just put it that way. The way it was done.
Oof.
It
I
is
think if they could have
extremely-
trimmed it a bit and catered it to a PG, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I want an R-rated movie, but if you're looking to sell a lot of tickets, you know, maybe this movie could have trimmed some of that out and made it a PG-13.
it needs to be that brutal to actually.
The first movie was not even brutal at all. There was like barely any action in the first movie. Harrison Ford like shot like 2 people. He shot like
All
the
right,
girl in the shoulder twice.
What about like Gosling getting his head smashed by Batista in the beginning? That
This
was
movie opens with
fucking
violence
cool.
right away. This
Cool
is like not going to
action.
be like the old movie. There's going to be violence and action in this one.
Yeah, there's literally a kettle boiling when they're about to fight.
Oh,
Can
one
you be
more
a little
fun
bit
fact.
more heavy-handed for that?
One more fun fact about that kettle boiling opening scene. Apparently, that was a scrapped opening scene for the original movie. That was supposed to be Harrison Ford in the scene as Ryan. So what would have been is Harrison Ford in the farmhouse, things boiling. He's sitting in there waiting. Suddenly the farmer shows up, is getting prepped, and was asking Harrison Ford, "What are you doing here?" Harrison Ford says, "I'm a Blade Runner." Boom, shoots him dead. That was going to be the original opening of the original Blade Runner. So they kind of kept it as an homage in the new movie and subbed in Gosling and Batista for it.
Which is cool. It's a great scene. It's a great scene. And then you get a foreshadowing in that with, "You've never seen a miracle."
Yeah, so crazy. But we're left with more questions. There could be a sequel. We don't know yet if Deckard's a replicant or not. A lot of people out there think he may be, maybe not. You think he is? I think he's not.
I hope he's not in the fucking
next movie. You think he is?
Next Blade Runner movie should be a standalone.
The writer thinks one thing, the director's thinking another, the actor's thinking another.
100%. He's a replicant.
So we're still left with these kind of questions. I thought it was a great movie. I don't know if there's going to be another one or not, but I enjoyed it and I recommend it if you haven't. What was our rating system? How many dick eagles do you give it? Is that?
Can we just rate everything out of a 5?
Out of a 5.
A 5 is terrible though. 'Cause you're not going to give a 5.
Right.
What do we give?
I'll give this. I'm going to try to see it again.
What do we give?
That's
free
my
to play?
rating, dude.
What do I give free to play?
You gave it a 9 out of 12, or you gave it a 12.
No, I didn't.
Dude, it was something stupid. This rating system.
We all had a very
broken.
random, arbitrary.
Here is my rating system. I think I'm just gonna give it an overall review. I thought visually it was unbelievable. I think Dickinson can get the Oscar for it. I pray to God he does. I want to see it again in the theater. The story is shit, and I don't care what you say. It is totally. There's no. It's just. It's pointless and doesn't. Yeah, I'm not into the story. Visually unbelievable. I'm seeing it again in the theater. That's my final thoughts on it.
Okay. So my rating system is out of 10. Every movie starts at baseline 5. This movie gets plus 1 point for Ryan Gosling, plus 2 points for Ana de Armas, plus another 2 points for the visuals, and then minus 2 points for how long every scene seemed, and then another point plus for the crazy girl, and then minus another point for Jared Leto.
I think you're at 8.
Okay,
Eight
so
now?
I'm at a 7.
You're at 8.
You're at 8, math man.
Huh? No, that's 7.
All right, we both did 8. So.
Yeah, we both got you 8.
I'm going 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I like the plus 1 for
right.
Love though. She's the best character in the movie. Period.
They were great. If you have seen the original Blade Runner movie, I think you definitely need to be seeing this Blade Runner movie for sure. There is a lot of, like we said before, Easter eggs. There's a lot of some questions that are answered. You'll be happy to find out there are questions remaining unanswered, leaving you to your own theories and devices to discuss with your friends and all your Blade Runner, buddies. But I thought it was great. I liked the story a lot, and the cinematics and everything was just a wonderful visual treat. I did agree it got dragged on a little bit, and the humor did fall flat, but good stuff overall. I don't know if I have a rating system, but I'd probably give this one...
Minus 1 for Harrison Ford then.
8 out of 10 for me.
First off, I love that it was 3 hours, so you guys are dumb. But
you liked that
which
3 hours?
one
Jesus Christ.
do you like more? Ken can't answer this question because he hasn't seen the original.
I like this one more. I
like the second one more, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
I like this one more than the original.
I felt a lot of the other, like, I only watched the original Blade Runner one time and left, and I was much more about, like, all the other sci-fi crazy movies at the time, like Total Recall, RoboCop.
Yeah.
Like that,
I've seen the original Blade Runner twice. I hated it the first time. I really loved it when we rewatched it this week.
I'd probably like it if I watched it again. Yeah.
But, yeah, I think the new one was just, like, I don't know, dude, actually. I don't know. I can't actually answer that question.
The new one's better.
No, but the other one's world is better. I like the world of the other one. I like the visuals of this one better. Like, the other one feels like the streets are filled with these people. There's all this stuff going on. You're like, every scene, you're like looking around at all this shit. You're like, whoa, 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 so cool, so cool.
The
Plus,
only old
they didn't
movies
eat
that
any
are better
fucking
are-
noodles in this. Like, we met, like, in the first one, there was like 4 shop owners that we meet, and it's like super interesting, like, side characters and all these little things going on.
No, he met the I'm the captain now guy.
Frozen Man. Yeah, there's one in this, and yeah, it's I'm the captain now. Whatever. I'm distracting. I think all these are great points about the movie. It's fucking cool.
It's great. We'll see if they make another one or not to explore that city and that whole environment a bit more. And
What's the next movie we're doing? Can we decide that right now?
What are we going to do for
We
the
have
next
no
one?
idea.
Yeah,
I
I want to do Hackers.
Are we doing another throwback?
You want to do a throwback movie
We alternate.
next?
Yeah. All right, that makes sense.
I think it's about time we do throwbacks. So our next one will be of a throwback.
Can
Maybe
we do Hackers?
Hackers.
Can we do Hackers? No, can we
Maybe
just decide right now?
Or we could pick like 3 and like have people vote.
No,
on
we're
what
doing
we should
Hackers. Let's do
watch.
Hackers.
I mean, I'm not denying it because like,
Angelina
Hackers
Jolie's
is a
in
great
it.
movie, and I would definitely
Angelina
do it.
Jolie's all right.
Jolie's in
I'm
it.
down to do Hackers. I don't care. I'll do Hackers.
Dakota.
Dakota's
we should
not
do
ready
hackers.
for it.
I think
Okay,
we should do
Dakota's into
hackers.
it.
I'm ready. I love hackers. What do you mean?
That
I'm
movie's
totally down.
amazing, dude.
I don't
I'm ready.
think-
I'm ready for the clips.
Let's just go into hackers.
I'm ready to get the clips on for this one.
So that means our next film's gonna be Hackers.
Hackers.
I know I'm out of town next week, so look for us in the following week to creep in a movie buffed Hackers edition. Should be awesome. I know that in
Do we have anyone that actually knows enough about hacking to like give us that we can ask them?
For a guest?
Yeah,
we need like a call in hacker.
we need a call in who like actually knows enough about this stuff.
I don't know anybody. We can.
How much of this is movie?
I could
got
ask
your guy.
Rich. I could ask
You got
Rich from
Rich.
Team
How much of
Liquid.
this is
I'll ask
movie
him.
hacking and how much of it is real?
No, I'll
kind of
ask him.
thing?
That's what we
I'll
wanna
ask him to
know.
be on it.
The
I will ask him.
authenticity of the hacks. All right, fair enough. Guys, it's been awesome. Make sure you catch all of our podcasts, of course, on the BTS Podcast Network. We have it going live on our SoundCloud. You can catch the VODs on our YouTube, on iTunes, on Google Play, and all that good stuff. On behalf of our good buddies here, Mr. Dan Nigerian and Ken, I am Dakota, and we'll see you next time for more podcast action. Take care.
Bye.